South Africa's leading business cycle indicator rose in June, clawing back some ground after a decline in May. The index gained 0.4% month-on-month, helped by faster growth in real money supply and higher export commodity prices in dollar terms. But the improvement was partly offset by weaker passenger vehicle sales and a narrower interest rate spread. Resilient, that's how Master Drilling has described its first half performance. The firm says it weathered global market and economic uncertainty in the 6 months to end June and still managed to increase revenue in dollar terms by close to 5%. Its profit after tax in the meantime shot up 399%, but that's mainly due to an accounting change. Last year, the firm's auditors insisted it take an impairment loss charge on its mobile tunnel boring machine, as no formal agreement was in place to project future cash flows. But during the first half, a contract was finalized to start operations of the machine, and so this has resulted in a partial impairment reversal. The balance of the impairment will be assessed on a continuous basis. Looking ahead, Master Drilling says it is confident in its ability to perform well. Old Mutual has forecast a rise in interim adjusted headline earnings of between 19 and 39%. The financial services firm uses this metric as its primary measure of profit. The group says that the growth was supported by increased shareholder investment returns. That's as a result of an improved performance in both the South African and Malawian equity markets, which were considerably above expectations. Old Mutual will release results on the 10th of September. Cashbuild is expecting a profit bump. The building materials retailer says its full-year headline earnings per share could rise by as much as 12%, and its earnings per share may surge by more than 100%. The firm gave no reason for the improvements, but a fourth quarter trading update indicated that revenue during the period continued to rise. More detail will be made available to the market when the company opens its books on the 3rd of September. Motor says its full-year headline earnings per share will be between 4% and 6% higher. That's as the South African vehicle market rebounded ahead of expectations in the second half of the group's financial year. But while this was the silver lining during the period, growth was limited by the uncertain and volatile global economic environment. And that was thanks to increased trade tensions and geopolitical developments. Motors will open its books on the 2nd of September. British American Tobacco has announced that Soraya Benchikh will step down as CFO from today. Javed Iqbal, who is currently Director for Digital and Information, will take on the role in an interim capacity, and Benchikh will remain available until the end of the year to support the transition. Iqbal recently acted as the company's interim financial director. The cigarette maker says the recruitment process to identify a permanent successor is underway. Delta Property Fund has struck a deal to sell an office property located on 4th Street in Parkmore, Sandton. Afrocentric Intellectual Property will pick up the asset for 19 million rand. This is the latest deal in a series of disposals as Delta looks to streamline its portfolio and reduce debt. Alongside this announcement, the company also confirmed the successful transfer of 2 previously announced disposals, the De Deutspan property in Kimberley and the Pine Parkade leasehold. In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump says he is firing Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook over alleged improprieties in obtaining mortgage loans, an unprecedented step that could test the boundaries of presidential power over the independent monetary policy body should it be challenged in court. Here's more detail in this package report.
Donald Trump has taken the unprecedented step of firing Federal Reserve Governing Board member Lisa Cook. In a letter to her, he said, "I have determined that there is sufficient cause to remove you from your position. At minimum, the conduct at issue exhibits the sort of gross negligence in financial transactions that calls into question your competence and trustworthiness as a financial regulator." The move follows allegations made by Federal Housing Finance Agency Director William Pulte, a Trump ally. He says Cook is guilty of mortgage fraud, claiming she listed 2 different properties as being her primary residence on mortgage applications. That could have allowed her to secure lower rates on her borrowing. However, Pulte has provided no public evidence for the allegation, and Cook is defiant. She had said she would not be bullied into stepping down, and has vowed to gather evidence to answer all questions over her mortgages. Cook was appointed to the Fed board in 2022 by then-President Joe Biden. She is the first African-American woman to serve as a Fed governor. Now her dismissal could be challenged in court amid legal uncertainty over whether Trump has the power to fire her. It also comes amid Trump's fierce criticism of the central bank's leadership. He's regularly accused Chair Jerome Powell of being too slow to cut rates.
People aren't able to buy a house because this guy is a numbskull. He keeps the rates too high.
Trump has frequently threatened to fire the Fed chief, but has backed away from that as the end of Powell's term approaches in May.